Hi, and welcome to the Tea with Intuitives podcast. I'm Meli, an Akashic reader, past life psychic, and channeling coach.
And I'm Brittany, an esoteric energy healer and inner child healing coach. Each episode, we answer one of your questions about spirituality, the Akashic records, energy healing, meditation, spirit guides, and the unseen world.
So we invite you to grab your cup of tea while we answer a question from @MonicaRenee85 on Instagram. And she wants to know, how can you tell the difference between intuition/knowing versus your mind playing tricks on you? But before we dive into this subject, Brittany, what tea are you drinking today?
Today, I have my cat tarot card mug.
Oh, so cute.
It's the cutest. And I have a coconut Earl Grey. It's really good.
Yummy.
Yeah. What tea are you drinking?
I need to show you, but I will explain it for the people listening this on audio, of course. So if you're on YouTube, check this out. I made some jasmine tea, but I took the little flower balls that just expand in the water, and it's beautiful. I have some white and some yellow flowers. I have a mix of comfrena, lily, and jasmine. Not sure if I pronounced that right, but it's super cute.
Beautiful. Yummy.
Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to someone who left a review on Apple Podcasts Canada. So the review is from WPG Wonder, and they say, "My cup of tea, 5 stars. This podcast feels so comfortable, snuggling with a cup of tea and soaking up refreshing wisdom. I look forward to my bi-weekly Tuesday morning listen, and I'm grateful for the conversation and awareness Britt and Meli share. Wonderful energy." Thank you so much for that beautiful review.
Thank you. I love it. My cup of tea.
Yeah.
That
Great
is so
title for a
cute.
review. Yeah.
I wonder if we can make that our tagline
It should.
somehow.
Yes.
Some way.
We'll think about it.
Yeah.
And Brittany, you have something new. What do you want to share with us?
Yeah. So I am officially offering a morning yoga class and meditation class. It is Eastern Standard Time, so I understand that 7 a.m. EST may not be like a fit for everyone, but it is on Zoom and it's Monday and Thursday. I am playing around with the idea of changing the Thursday class to an evening class just to give a bit of variety. But I'm so excited. I started teaching yoga in 2015. I am certified and I want to get back into it. So it's been a really fun journey. One of my favorite things to teach also is meditation. That was one of my running classes while I was teaching, was the meditation class. So if you can join, go to heartofbrit.com. All the info is on there. You can learn about it, and you may see Meli there too.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I'd love to join. I cannot for the morning class, but we'll see if you ever have an evening one. But I can attest, I did yoga with Brittany. In fact, if you took her inner child healing course, she has a morning and evening yoga session there as a bonus, and I keep doing. I'm more of a morning yoga person, so I keep doing your morning yoga session. I know it by heart. It's my favorite.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. It warms my heart. Yeah, yoga was the first practice that I kind of fell in love with and felt like teaching it was such a part of my spiritual journey and the connection I have to, mind, body, and spirit really through yoga. That was the first thing that, besides esoteric healing, really the yoga felt so at home and so good to teach it. So I'm excited to get back into it. Yeah. I'm also figuring out a way to record the episodes to be viewed later on. So a lot of development still happening, but I'm excited.
Yeah. And also, I want to point out, I'm really not good at yoga. I'm really not flexible. And the way Brittany teaches it, it's totally feasible for me.
Good. That's good feedback too. Yeah. Yeah, very beginner friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. Meli, is there anything that you want to mention? We actually haven't talked for a little while. I'm curious if there's any updates on your end of things.
Not much. If you follow me on Instagram, you know we had a huge ice storm here and we didn't have any power for quite some time, more than 40 hours, but we were not in the worst cases. And so we're kind of fine with that. But for the first time since I think my teenage years, well, since internet, we didn't have the LTE/5G connection. So our only connection to the outside world was our battery powered radio, actually the radio that my parents gave me when I was 10. So it's like, yay, I kept that as a souvenir. And it's our only way to know what's going on in the outside world. When the storm started, our car doors were just iced shut. So we couldn't even take the car and go to my sister's place and see them because they have a power generator. So we're like, okay, let's wait. So it was all about, acceptance and taking things slow.
Yeah, wow, what a week.
Yeah.
It's probably, how cold is it there?
It was during the ice storm, it was pretty cold. I don't know. Honestly, I never checked the Weather Channel, and this ice storm really took me by surprise.
Yeah.
But we spent 2 nights without electricity, and I had 2 big blankets over me. On the last day in the morning, I was wearing my winter boots, my hat, and my neck warmer. So it's telling you that it was cold.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so ready for summer.
Me
So
too.
ready. So ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meli, I am curious to hear what you think about our question, and I'm gonna let you start.
Okay. Well, Monica, your question is a question I get all the time. How do I know I'm not imagining what my spirit guides are saying to me or the signs that I'm getting? Is it just me imagining everything? Is it wishful thinking? And actually, I have a full course on that. I have a learn to channel your spirit guides with confidence and make the difference between imagination and channeling. And if you're curious, I have a channeling cheat sheet that is completely free. And I thought I would just talk about some things on my channeling cheat sheet that answer Monica's question. So there are many ways to know if it's just you or your spirit guides. And the first thing that I have on my list here is that when the spirit guides are sending you signs and messages, it's always empowering and positive guidance. It's never something that is out of fear, that you feel some kind of pressure. They're not negative thoughts. These are from maybe lower vibrating entities or your ego trying to, keep you in fear, keep you in what's comfortable, or sabotaging you. So if you're getting negative thoughts or messages that you're like, spirit guides wouldn't answer that way. They are more zen. They have a lot of wisdom. Try to think of them like they have different personalities, but in general, it's like having a little Buddha whispering in your ear. So if you don't get that feeling, you are not channeling your spirit guides. You're not, maybe it's not necessarily channeling, it's more signs, but it's not from them.
Yeah, beautifully said. The hard part is imagination is actually a really big part of being able to channel. Mm-hmm. Because if you're blocked through your imagination, if you're blocked creatively, most likely you're going to be blocked from receiving channeled information that is very clear, because that part of us that is creative and imaginative lets us see, it lets us receive that deeper connection. If you're visual, at least if you're more visual like I am, I know Meli is as well. So you do need an imagination and you do need creativity, but it's really hard to differentiate. Is this my ego? Is this just my brain playing tricks on me? Or is this actually like a divinely orchestrated message? And what I have to say with this is too, um, sometimes they speak through our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
They quite literally may speak through us through our imagination. And that's why I think it's important to have like a creative self-expression practice where you are intentionally using your inner artist and your creative self. That way you can differentiate, is this a creative, imaginative, divine flow of channeling or information coming through? Or is this energy more driven by ego? Is this energy more driven by fear? There is a difference, in my opinion, between imagination and being creative that is divinely kind of supported and inspired versus the ego creating things that are backed by, more lower vibrational things like fear. So the more that you understand your creative self, the more that you understand your imagination and the vibration behind your imagination, the more you can differentiate what's totally made up an ego and then what's sort of a divine message. And I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. And I feel like a good tip is that, especially when you're starting exploring all this, is have an eye out for repetition. Because when you're not sure what the spirit guides are going to do, is that they're going to repeat over and over the same message, and sometimes in the same way or with different ways. For example, maybe you're using oracle cards or tarot card, and you might read for yourself every day or every other day, and you ask, what do I need to know? Or maybe you ask the same question over and over again, and you keep pulling the same cards. Now, that says something, because in the tarot deck, there are 78 cards. If you keep pulling the same cards or cards with very, very similar meanings, that says something. And also, it can be like you're pulling a card and there's a huge heart on the card, and then you're seeing heart-shaped clouds or heart-shaped flowers, and you're seeing the word heart everywhere in ads on TV or whatever. Now that's a strong repetition, and you can go back to that oracle card with the heart and what it says on it, and the message is truly important. It's from your guides, and the guides do use they use your imagination, but they also use what you see to send messages and remind you. I'm very much into past lives. So when we watch TV shows and movies, they use that, because sometimes what's going on in a movie is exactly what you went through in your past life. So just after watching a movie, you're having a dream about something similar, and you're like, oh, it's just made up because I just saw the movie. And now a good way to know if it was made up or not is go check with your physical sensations. Like, how were you feeling when you were dreaming? How did you feel about the dream? Was it very vivid? Was it the dream like it was reality? But what I found is that when we perceive messages and there is clairsentience on top of it, like you can feel maybe physical sensations or even strong emotions, that says something. And if you felt that during a dream, I mean, you were asleep, you were in a sleep state and you were feeling all this, that says something. Your guides are intervening, saying, look at this situation. It's important. It might be a past life. It might reflect what you're going through right now, and you're learning a life lesson. You're going through an important challenge, and you need to look at it. You need to address it. So they kind of want to wake you up.
Mm-hmm. Beautifully said. Yeah, your body knows.
Yes.
Your body remembers what maybe you don't consciously remember. So yeah, good tip.
Yeah. And oftentimes when you're like, this might be crazy, or maybe I'm just imagining this, but just the fact that you're thinking that, I don't think you're imagining it. And most of the time when people come to me for Akashic readings and they say it like, I'm probably just imagining this, but can you please ask my guides what they mean by this or that? And the spirit guides are like, oh my God, we keep sending them these messages. Yes, it's us, it's valid. So I would say a lot of my Akashic readings, and mostly I would say tarot readings, I give a lot of validation to people who are just unsure about all of this. But I'm so used to it. Every time I'm like, oh, this is a coincidence. No, it's not a coincidence. It's my spirit guides. Like the messages are so repetitive and strong, and I get strong feeling. These are your guides, and it's and your guides are behind your intuition as well, by the way. So if you're not into channeling or anything and you prefer the word intuition, for me it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the deep rooted causes of not being able to differentiate what's sort of made up or not real or just the ego versus what is an actual sign or a divine communication really comes down to trusting yourself and knowing yourself enough to be able to differentiate it. So I guess my question back would be why don't you trust yourself, and what's the root cause of that, and do some shadow work there?
Yeah. And I'd like to share one of my root causes regarding this. And it was coming from a family. In general, my family members are younger souls. And so younger souls are not into spirituality and spirit guides. It's just the way it is. It's part of the soul's evolution. And so you fear that people will think that you are crazy. And so you internalize everything, and your ego tries to protect you. So you don't feel like you're the black sheep. So you don't feel like you don't get rejected by the people around you. So it's kind of you censoring yourself and blocking your intuition. So that maybe there's a social part that might be linked to it. And it comes back to you needing to trust yourself and having confidence in you and your spirituality and how you express it. And you don't need to go out and scream to the world that you're connecting with your guides and you're getting so many signs. Just can be your personal practice and trust in yourself. Okay, so there are other ways to tell if you're just imagining things or if it's really your intuition, your spirit guides. And if you are curious, you can go and download my channeling cheat sheet to have more information. It's on my website, my Instagram page. And I thank you all for listening to the Tea with Intuitives podcast.
If you have any questions for us, you can send it to teawithintuitives@gmail.com or via Instagram or YouTube.
Your love for this podcast helps us grow and reach more like-minded souls, so don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast.
Have a beautiful week.